Hello everybody, Happy New Year and welcome to Junk Journal Gems. It's been a little bit since we've been together and I've missed you, but with the holidays and everything I was super busy, so I just needed to take a break from making videos and trying to come back into crafting mode. I've got to admit, I've been in a bit of a block or a crafting funk, if you will. So I thought this would be a really good time now that people are coming out of the holidays and all of that busyness. It would be a really good time for us to talk a little bit about when you are in a bit of a crafting block or a crafting funk. What are some of the things that you can do to get over that hurdle? So I've come up with just 6 ideas. There's certainly many ways, but I came up with 6 things that work for me to kind of give me a jump start and get me going into a creative thought process again. One of the things that I'll do, I think that we all kind of do, is, we're never sad to buy some new craft supplies. And I was out of town for my son's wrestling event, had some time in between events to blow. So I stopped at a Hobby Lobby and got a few things. And I thought these would be a good idea to kind of get you over a crafting funk too. Number one, the scissors are not, for me anyway, a way to get over the crafting funk, but I saw these for $1.49, and it's called a Craft Tools brand. I would assume that it's kind of like their off-brand at Hobby Lobby, but they're really nice and tiny. It says a soft grip. I don't think it's that soft. It's more of a hard plastic, if you ask me. But I thought I'd give them a try and let you guys know if for the money, it's worth it. Now, I wouldn't expect something like this to last forever and amen, but they certainly seem to do the trick. And they're nice and tiny to get in those little corners. So I think for $1.49, rather than spending $9-10 on a pair of fussy cutting scissors, this definitely does the trick. So I'm not sad I picked those up. You can even pick them up maybe when they've got that product on sale. Another thing that I will do to jumpstart my crafting process is to pick up some different notions or little embellishments that I can put on my makes. So these were 40% off. So the original price was $2.99. So for less than $2, I've got some new little items that I can use to kind of get my crafting process started. So this is a good idea. This I thought was also a great idea. Only $1.99 for a little stamp set of some blocks, and we'll play with this together. But again, making some additional embellishments that you've never used before oftentimes will get your creative juices going. So we'll play with this a little bit. Another thing that helps to get me going is by buying either a new digital kit or some kind of papers that are new to me that get me going. And I saw this, I've bought the Theodosia Square paper pads from Hobby Lobby a couple times before, and I saw that they had changed out the prints and the colors. I think this year's Pantone color is kind of a peachy color, at least one of them, and this paper pad seems to kind of fall within that color scheme of the new Pantone color. Look at, and they have some new prints. These are pretty. These are very pretty, and they're very in that grungy vintage vibe that I love. Let me keep flipping here and you'll see. I love how they already have a watermark on here. That's so cool. Here's your peach colors that start coming in. Some blues. Now some of these prints I do recognize, but they've changed the color way on it. Like this, I think, is not a new pattern, but the color way is different. Here's more of the peach. This is a pretty print with some birds and botanicals on it. Really pretty. A toile. I'm just flipping through this. You don't want to see every one in detail, but it gives you an idea of what's in the paper pad. I thought these were really pretty and really practical if you have a crafting vibe of vintage or vintage grungy. This is a good one to pick up and have in your stash. I take the pads apart and I put them, I store them in record album sleeves by color. So this would, for me, go in the single-sided paper, and this has a primary color on the paper is blue, so that's what I would put that under. This would either be, this would probably be under a peach. It borders on rust. Green, you get the drift. But they're super pretty, super practical. You can use it in 101 different ways. That's always a good thing to have and get you going too. All right, so new supplies are one way. Now, another thing that I'll do to get me going with my creative juices is I'll just whip out my scraps and start making some tags and journaling cards. And sometimes that is just enough to get me digging in my supplies and thinking about different ways to use stuff. You just kind of need to get yourself over that hump. So all that I did here is I grabbed out my scrap pockets, or when I say scrap pockets, I mean pouches. I keep all my scraps and things like this. I get them out and I just start, without thinking much about it, putting things together. One of the pouches that I have is a pouch of these kind of mailers for magazine subscriptions and different mailing things that I'll just shove in here and use as bases for cards and tags. And I cut them up into all kinds of different sizes and just cover them with my scrap paper. Gets rid of your scraps, gets you going creatively, and then you're ready to roll. This is just going to give you an idea of some of the things that I'll do. Just pull out your stuff. I love these little labels. Get out your laces. I just did some stringy sewing around it. Hope you can see that okay. Get out your Tim Holtz people. And just start putting things down. And you've got tags. And it builds up your stash and gets you going. When I get going, I kind of create almost an assembly line where I'll cut these up to sizes that I'll use. So these will be little tags. And this is a great size for a journaling card. And then I just get out my scrap paper. And again, without thinking too much, whoops, I just start gluing down some papers as bases and work from there. So you're not having to think too much right away. Those are just off of scraps. This is just a scrap piece of cardstock that I pulled out. Just start grabbing things. Grab and glue. All right, so that's that. The next thing that I'll do is what I already alluded to a little bit is stamped ephemera. That gets me going. So one thing that I was doing is Lorna from Tailor Made Journals. I hope you can see this okay. Lorna came out with her first set of stamps and stencils with creative expressions. And you guys, if you can get your hands on these, they're marvelous. Lorna, if you watch my video, I know you do sometimes, you did a great job, girlfriend, and I absolutely love these. I cannot wait until your next set comes out. You've got a fan in me. But what I'll do is I'll just start playing around with I'll stamp on some various papers. Here I've did it on book pages and just on coffee dyed paper. Fussy cut them out and just start using them as background ephemera on the tags that you're making, or just start making some stuff. Lorna had done some of these, so I just love having these on hand. I'll be making these for days, I can tell. So much fun. But start doing this. I thought that this was something that we could do together using the new one I got. But here's Lorna's stamp sets. This one is called La Mode. And they are just fantastic. This stamp here is this one. Isn't that beautiful? Antiquities. It's right there. And then the other one is, I don't speak French, so I'm totally going to butcher this. Au Bon Marche. And these are beautiful too. These are the ones that I used to make these. And I just stapled this on the lace with my tiny stapler. These are from that set. Here's another one. But she knocked it out of the park. Way to go, Lorna. They're fabulous. All right, so we're going to do some stamping with this. Forgot to get my stamp kit out. And I want to get a block. So I thought that what I would show you is I just pulled out yet more scraps. And in one of my boxes of vocabulary cards, vintage vocabulary cards, there were just some blank ones. I don't know if it was a ripoff or if the blank ones were just in there so someone could make their own flashcards. But anyway, I pulled them out because the patina on them, it's like no inking necessary. They're already aged and fabulous. Plus, they're a little heavier. They're not a heavy cardstock, but they're, not exactly paper. So let's pull this new stamp set out. Let me get some of this out of my way. I've had Bo Bunny stamps before, and I really like those too. Here's my block. Let's get out some coffee dyed paper. One side's a little grungier than the other. Let's start with this one. And the bigger stamps will fit on here. So I go through and I just start playing. And these are going to be great in collage layering. In so many, sorry about that. In so many different ways. And I'll just go through. Oh, I love it. And start stamping away so I can cut them out and use them. Let's use one of the other ones and see what it's like. And if you like this set, I got it at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure if you search Bo Bunny online somewhere, who knows, you may be able to get them on Amazon. If you're not a Hobby Lobby fan, or if you don't have Hobby Lobby near you. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Joann's or Michael's in the U.S. here sell Bo Bunny stamps. Ooh, that one's got really fine detail. That's cool too. Let's try another. I love these. This is fun. Let's try this. Yeah, let's try this one. Okay. Oh, those are super cool. Super cool. Let's try some of the little ones on something else because I wanted to set that aside to dry. I wanted to try stamping on something already with a printed background, especially this really fine print. Now here what we can do is, because these are so small, we can stamp them two up on the acrylic block. I'll show you what I mean. I'm not exactly doing this as straight as I could, but you'll get the gist of it. You're all smart. So here what I can do is stamp two in one shot. Crafting efficiency. Oh, these are so much fun. I love that too. Great purchase. I'm pleased. Again, less than $2. Can't go wrong. Hold on, gotta clean up my mess. Let's try this one. Let's put them right in the middle of this. Oh, that's neat. So you get the gist of that. Let me clean my block off here. I have quite the mess going on. Typical. Lisa in the craft room equals making messes. Ooh, this is dried up. Let's get a new one out. Baby wipes. They're not just for babies anymore. There. Okay, so let's try, we'll go back to that one later. Let's try some of these cards. Now, the big ones are too big, but what we might want to do, let me eyeball this here. Got to brainstorm. I know, that's scary. I hope everybody else had a happy holiday season and have had a happy new year. Hope everybody's healthy and well. Knock on wood, our family has maintained health after being together through the holidays. Had a very nice holiday. Okay, let's try this. Try to center that as best I can. Oh, that's so cool. I missed a little spot there, but then that in itself makes an interesting journaling card or background embellishment, doesn't it? I'm going to do another one. Now, right now, of course, I just have my black ink out, but don't forget about your other colors. I have a couple of new colors That would be fun to try, actually. Let's try one. I got these for Christmas. I got aged mahogany and Victorian velvet. Cool. Let's try stamping this off. Where's my... Cover back on here. This is the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. These are Distress Oxides. Hold on, I'm going to get a drink here. With the heat on now, it gets kind of dry in the house, although it's damp outside. Plus, I stayed in a hotel over the weekend, so the whole hotel air doesn't help. Let's try one of these. Aged mahogany, this one is. I feel like I'm missing a spot. Oh, so cool. If this doesn't get you going, I don't know what would. Okay, let's try the Victorian velvet. Happy I got this color. That's fun. I needed a more, like, I guess I'd say a muted pink or an aged kind of color in that spectrum. And hopefully this gives me what I'm looking for. Oh yeah. So just to compare the two for you, this is the Victorian velvet and this is the aged mahogany. This is more of a verging over to the burgundy side, but not quite there. It's got a little more brown undertone. Yeah, I'm loving these. So that gives you some ideas on some different things to do with your stamps to get you going. Let me get this put away here quickly, or as quickly as I can. These stamps will be fun. That along with Lorna's. Some of these patterns remind me a little bit of like quilt blocks. So if you were doing maybe a themed journal, quilting themed journal, you could use these too. Kind of lends to that idea. Okay, more to play with there. Now, the other thing that you can do is use fabric, lace, or paper to make clusters. Now, I have a bunch of clusters. Did I have clusters in here? Yes, so here there are some clusters that we made together a while back using paint chips. What do I have in here? Oh, I did one like that. So you can just start getting out your scraps again. I've got a whole jug of fabric. I've got different laces in another little bucket. And I've got little doily and crocheted pieces in this little bucket that I keep here for embellishments. And of course I have lace everywhere in here. So this gives you an idea of some different clusters you can do. These are just using the paint chips. And where are my other? Here we go. There are, if you remember the idea from Shabby Dabby Doo-Dah to make some cluster books using some of your 12 by 12 papers, these are some other clusters. Again, just pull out your scraps. I need to get using some of these. There's a little guy hanging out down here. There's more in here, and I've been hacking away at these. Just get out your supplies and make some clusters. Buttons, laces, fabrics, sew some pieces. And then that'll get you moving into a creative direction as well. Okay? I don't know that I have a bunch in here. Not a whole lot. Here I got out my stickles. Here's another. This is my Shabby Chic book. My Shabby Chic, my vintage. And my colored ones, the more brightly colored ones. So clusters are another way, and you just start gluing things on top of each other. You've seen me do clusters. Look back in my previous videos for that. The other thing that you can do is to pull out a forgotten supply. Okay, forgotten supply. I spotted this earlier today in my craft room, and this is a old catalog from 1943 and 44. That's been sitting on my shelf. I've pecked away. I've sold some of these pages, and I haven't pulled it out for a good long while. And these make great collage pieces as you're journaling. Sorry for the riskiness. They make good backgrounds. They make great backgrounds. Again, like do it on the backs of your tags or journaling cards, or use some of the images to build some pockets. If you're doing a mail-themed journal, use some of the vintage papers for that. You can pull out maybe an old book, maybe you haven't used music paper for a while. Pull out something that you've not used. What about stencils? And just start stenciling some things. Another thing I'm going to pull out later this week is my jelly plate. And I'm just going to start rolling paint on and using my jelly plate to get some creative backgrounds that I can use in a variety of different ways. But pull things out of your stash that you haven't used for a while and get creative on different ways that you can use it. So this is going to be on my list to use later today because I kind of forgot about this beauty. All right, so pull out a forgotten supply. Snippet rolls is my sixth idea. So there's different ways that you can do snippet rolls. There's no rule. It's junk journaling, so we basically have no rules about anything, which is why I love this craft and hobby so much. These snippet rolls I did not make. These were made, I think they both were made by Donna Little. I love Donna's snippet rolls. She knows it. She deals with so many laces and doilies and tablecloths that she has a lot of really beautiful scraps in her stash that she can pull together. And what she does is, and what you can do, is take a piece of muslin or some kind of cotton And then just layer your interesting pieces. Here she's got some lace that's more of a netted lace. She's got some applique pieces on here. What else you got on here, Donna? There's different laces, Quaker laces, little pieces of, this looks to be tatting. Yeah, and oh, here's some satin ribbon in the background. And just lay it down and tack it on with glue first and then sew it. And voila, you've got something that you can put on the edge of your pages. You can use on as tag toppers. You can embellish pockets with them. There's so many ways that you can use snippet rolls. Here's another one that she did and sewed it with brown thread, which I love that. Again, just a cotton background and layers on all the little bitty snippet pieces. And then you use up everything. There's no waste, and you end up with this really interesting piece to adorn your other makes. That's one way. Then this is something that I made just taking my scrap papers of varying sizes. I did not care what size. And just pleat fold it as I'm sewing through. Here's some coffee dyed composition notebook paper cut-offs, ledger paper cut-offs. Just use up all those skinny scraps this way. This makes really interesting backgrounds on cards and pockets and all kinds of things. That's a favorite to do. I haven't done that for a while, so maybe I need to be getting this out as a forgotten supply. Here's something else I've not used for a while. This is a scrap paper roll where I just tore off or cut off little pieces of scraps and laid them out. And they're great. Let's say if you're going to do a journaling card and you want to lay a background on here. Let's do that. I'm going to lay a background on here. Just cut off however much you want. We'll glue it on. I'll show you what I mean. Glue it on. I'm just going to use my fiber tack. Got this glued on, and then we can find something to layer on top of it. So maybe in the background we put some kind of lace or something. I'll get that in a second. And maybe what we use on that are some of these Tim Holtz dies. That's kind of cool. What's this one look like? Might like that one even better. This is something I've not pulled out for a while. Let's just use the first one we had. Do you like this one? Or this one? Either one, right? I'm just going to use that one rather than second guess myself. And then we can pull out another layer here. This is backwards, but sometimes I actually prefer or is it? I don't know, but I prefer this right now. So we could layer that on like that. Let's do it. No time like the present. So that's what I mean about don't overthink it, because that's when you start to stymie yourself. glue that down a little bit. And when you've got this kind of a snippet roll, you can decide as you put your snippet on your piece how much you want glued down and how much you want hanging loose. Okay, what did I do at the top of my glue? Here it is. And then we'll put this on. Now this, you know me, can't do the white edges, gotta ink. Grunge it up a little bit. Get rough with it. But I like how these colors all pull everything together, and it was just super simple, right? So if you're having a bad day, if you've had a lot on your mind from work or other family things going on, and like for me, coming out of the holidays, I was just kind of, I don't know, brain dead, I guess. Plus it was busy at work, so I just needed a jump start, and playing with my stuff just gets me going. There we go, and I'll just use this as a journaling card. Ink around the edges a little bit. You can, when you're making a snippet roll, if you choose to ink around those edges of some of your papers, you can do that too. Of course, you can do anything you want, but just to give you another idea. And voila! We have a journaling card. I might add a little label or something like that on it too. Let's try that. Here's my labels, or some of them. See, here's some stamped items where I stamped some things out, and then I just use them as embellishments. Too big. I like that. Let's just put that little guy on there. Got a little glue schmutz on there. Oops. Okay, so let's review everything we did. If I can remember now. Okay, so the first thing was new supplies. Get out some new supplies that will get you going. And don't go out and spend a ton of money, or, you know, you certainly don't have to, is what I'm saying. This stamp set that I found to be so great is less than $2. If you buy it on sale, even better. Look in the clearance bin. Is there anything you can find in the clearance bin that gets you going? So try some new supplies out. Here were some other embellishments. We could have used one of these on our journaling card. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is make some tags. Just get your scraps out and start making some tags to get you going. Gets you playing with your ephemera and your scrap paper, and it's just enough to get you rolling. Try some new, making some new tags for yourself. The other thing that you can do is the stamped ephemera. And this is so much fun because it forces you to get out some of your stamps and play around with them. Get out your different stamp pads and play with colors, and you can just cut them out and use them as embellishments as you're collaging or layering, and voila, you've got some easy peasy, quick and easy pieces to use and keep in your stash. So that's another thing to get you going. Another thing to do is make some clusters. So these were the paint chip clusters that I have. Just start getting out your scrap bin and start gluing things on top of one another. Don't think about it too much, because that's when you get yourself stuck in a hole. Just start going. And then you also are building your stash. Pull out a forgotten supply. We talked about that as well. And then go ahead and use some snippet rolls or make some snippet rolls. You can use your snippet rolls then as you're making your tags and journaling cards. So here's the fabric ones, some pleated ones, just some scrappy ones to use in a variety of different ways. I hope this was helpful to get you crafting for the new 2024 year. Happy New Year to everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. If you like what you see, click subscribe, hit the thumbs up so others can also find the Junk Journal Gems channel. It helps the algorithms to help people find it as well. So thank you so much and have a great day.